Welcome back. We are the Shepherdacks, and today we are delighted to show you where we live here on Capitol Hill.
I think this home was our biggest project yet, and we're excited to show you guys, so come on inside.
Yeah. So now that we're inside, we want to walk you through what everything used to look like when we first started. So we're gonna start space by space. Right now, this whole first floor, it's open concept, but when we started, it was several different rooms. So where I'm standing, there was a wall. Where Jason is, there was no fireplace.
No fireplace at all. Do you remember when we put a gas line in?
I do. That was actually the hardest part. That was my least favorite part of our renovation, probably.
So no gas in this property, and gas in DC is big because gas stoves are big, and having, I think, a fireplace is super nice. So we had to cut a hole throughout our entire street and shut down traffic for about a week.
Yes, but now we have a gas fireplace, and then we also have a gas stove, which is really cozy for just us, also for entertaining, and cooking with a gas stove is just better, in my personal opinion.
I think so too. And then design details that we brought in that I thought were really important in our main entrance space is blowing everything out. Everything was just walled. And so having all of this open space makes the space feel huge. This home is 20 feet wide, which is super rare in DC. And so we wanted to actually make the space feel even bigger for entertaining. And so you notice is everything is white.
We won't necessarily do that in our next place. I think we're looking to go a little bolder and lean into different colors and patterns and textures. But white felt like a nice, easy palette. We also, I can't remember, this was totally exposed brick?
No, it was drywalled.
Okay, I forgot about that. So it was drywall, and then we weren't sure what was behind it, and then we were really happy to learn that it was brick, and then we made the decision to paint it all white.
Yeah, and then one other really big decision that we made was simple design aesthetics in this home, kind of mixing a very modern touch to a very classic home with really bold finishes. So one thing you guys will notice is you can see how open and beautiful the hardwood floors are, but they're laid in a herringbone pattern. This is very expensive to do. This is wide plank oak, so it's really good for long-term ownership, but super expensive to lay floor like this. But this was the highlight of the space to bring in the classic design. And then if you guys even look inside this fireplace, we took the herringbone finishes everywhere. We have a herringbone finish in the fireplace in the brick lay, and then you're also going to see it in all of the bathrooms and in the backsplash in the kitchen. I thought the design was beautiful. And then the last thing we did, which is really important, was all of our moldings and casings were unbelievably simple. So if you actually go look at our different window sills, you'll note that our windows don't have any trim casing, which is super common. And we actually eliminated all of the trim casing and just did a base casing to keep the design super simple. But then Allie made these beautiful design touches with these custom drapery, which really brought the space together. And I was not a fan of this because it was so expensive, but it really, really brings the space together.
It also hides some things. So living in a home that's more than 100 years old.
1902.
1902. And it's interesting living in Washington, D.C. A lot of the rules related to older homes are about what is externally facing, so what you can see from the street. So like your windows, for example, need to be of a certain type. And these windows are not perfect. They're actually diagonal, but the rod that we have here and the curtains that we put here disguises it quite a bit. And then speaking of disguises, we also have another little sneaky disguise right here, which is a commissioned piece of artwork that we had done by an artist that we met in Maine. So Jason and I have family in Maine. It's our favorite place. And we were walking the Marginal Way in Agunquit, and we came across this artist, and it's a place where there's a wonderful, vibrant arts community with lots of artists all the time. And I think we really went out on a limb in a certain respect.
We just guessed.
But we did, because this man was phenomenal. He was just painting away, painting
the ocean.
Painting the ocean, and painting the ocean and painting buildings like Capitol Hill are not the same, but this man can do both. And
it's
he can
so
do
beautiful.
Both really well.
And so, you ready for this? Our little sneak attack? Yes. There is our power panel, and is now hidden. So that was a really nice, let's see, we're gonna do that in all of our homes going forward. Yes. Okay, next big touch, which I really liked, is screwless plate covers. So in our next home, we'll show you some of the designs we're doing. We're picking some very expensive and unique fixtures. All of our new little light switches are going to be 100% metal in our new home. But on this home, they're plateless. And this is such a nice upgrade. And if you guys are thinking about making some adjustments to your home, this is such a great upgrade in your home. Also, everything is dimmable in our house. So all of our major lights are dimmable. That's such a small detail, but it goes such a long way when we're entertaining or setting a different mood depending on the season. And lighting is so essential.
Yes, and also having layered lighting. So you want accent lighting, you want feature lighting, you want your primary lighting.
We should show them what we did between lighting. So come over here, guys, because I think this is a great point, Allie. So our home has a ton of recessed lighting, and all of our recessed lighting in the home is bright white, which is super bright lighting. And then all of our design lights are actually soft white. And I think that's really important because it creates a nice contrast between the two spaces.
Everybody looks prettier in softer lighting.
I guess for dinner parties is a good point.
Oh, all the time. You don't want to walk in and feel like you're in a dentist office. It is not a good look for anyone.
The different perspectives that we have on things. That's so important. And then I think one thing that we did was an intentional design around fixtures. So if you notice, almost all of our fixtures are gold.
Yes.
The only thing that we decided to keep was this original railing.
Yes, original. I will say we're going to go gold again. This is our third home that we'll be doing all gold hardware.
Yep.
It is not easy, and it's just not easy, but it's worth it.
There's so many gold tones, and it's the brassy, rich brass brushed gold that I think is really beautiful. And you guys will note it in the fixtures that we have here, in our hidden storage areas underneath the stairs, and you'll see it in the kitchen. And I think we did a great job picking out the right golds, but that's probably one of the trickiest things when you guys are renovating a home is creating consistency. As a realtor, we talk all the time about having the same kind of flooring design aesthetic in the whole home, same palette of paint, and then the same color of fixtures, the top three things in design. So, but our next home, we're gonna be very bold, and we're gonna be doing the same fixture tone, so gold everywhere, same floor everywhere, but we're gonna be mixing patterns with wallpaper, paints, and a tremendous amount of built-in trim. And in this home, you see nothing. You see very simple walls and flat-cased trim. It was a very different design aesthetic in this property.
Also, the hardware will be less contemporary. Right now, this property is more sleek, more modern, and I think our next place, we want to go for more of that like timeless.
Yes,
antique.
Georgetown, antique, Ralph Lauren-y.
However, my favorite hardware that I found was, I didn't realize this was 24 karat gold for each doorknob. So we're trying to find a more affordable alternative.
Things you don't tell me, I don't need to know.
I thought you knew that. So Jason and I have a shared Pinterest page where we just keep compiling ideas as we happen upon them.
Think about a virtual design board, very helpful. You can go to a contractor and just show them your design board, and they can find the vendors that will put those pieces together.
Yes.
So, kitchen.
Yes. Well, first we should say there was once a wall. All right here.
Oy, oy, oy.
The wall. There was also, the fridge was right here.
Yes. So I think what's important to understand, guys, is like when you're creating unique spaces like this, you need an engineer involved. So we actually had to put in a support beam all the way across the space because this was a load-bearing wall, and we wanted to have enough storage on this side. So there's actually a half bathroom right here, which is hidden, but then we needed an entrance closet, which is always missing. Ooh, maybe we won't look inside our entrance closet. It's full of stuff. And then we did a tankless hot water tank because hot water tanks are like huge. And so we did a tankless hot water tank to create this space. And then we really wanted a massive kitchen. And so I see a lot of the time in kitchens, people doing an island in the very center. And I'm actually really opposed to it because I think having an island in the center reduces top cabinet space and also makes the kitchen feel a little bit smaller. But when you guys come back to our kitchen back here, Allie can be standing over here, I can be standing over here, and the kitchen just feels so massive. We've had parties where we have 20 people in the center of our kitchen, and it's awesome.
Yes, it doesn't matter how much food you put out in other areas, how cute your cocktail napkins are, no matter what, your friends and family will congregate in this vicinity.
Yeah, and so what we did is we have two congregation spaces. So we have this huge congregation space back here. The guys are always back here making cocktails because I'm the cocktail master back here. Allie is usually here prepping food, and a lot of people are congregating here. But then just behind us in that huge open space is that other huge congregation space. So we can host 50 people here, no problem. And I think that's really important to understand where are people going to linger in space, and then functionally, do I have the right things around me when I am using the kitchen? So Allie needs a lot of prep space, so dishwasher, sink, stove, lazy Susan, and all the things she needs to cook. Makes a lot of sense here. If I'm grilling in the back, the grill's here. I can come in and use this as prep space and functionally has a lot of flow. And so that made a lot of sense. Microwave.
Yes, so this is a dual microwave and convection oven.
Yeah.
So with our next property,
yeah, big changes.
So with this property, in order, frankly, to save money, we didn't panel our appliances. So you can see they're all stainless steel.
Yep.
With our next property, we are going to
kind
panel
of a more
them.
modern touch too.
Definitely a more modern touch.
Yeah.
But when you panel, it gives you more flexibility because if they're paneled, doesn't matter if they're from different brands, you can pick out the very best dishwasher and the very best, like just the very best of everything individually rather than going with one brand that's the best overall.
Yeah.
And we've decided to go with a French stove and make it an accent piece for our next property, even though we were really happy with the Wolf.
Yep.
One thing that you can't panel is you can't panel an oven stove or a convection oven like this.
So we're gonna have a hidden island. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then the next big bold thing, this is a big Allie request. So I hate garbage that's out. So I think everybody needs a couple essential things in a kitchen. One, I think having pull-out garbage is super essential. It's really important. I think leveraging corner spaces correctly, don't mind us if this is really unorganized, but I love these functions where you can have these extra huge storage spaces. These are sometimes custom pieces, but I think essential for adding custom storage in kitchens or in like Washington, D.C. or more complex spaces. Allie, your big request for not one, but
2 dishwashers.
2 dishwashers.
Yeah.
So our new home is going to have trash, dishwasher, sink, dishwasher. So you can be the mad husband doing the dishes because sometimes that's my job with cleanup. And then the last piece that I think is really important is storage above cooking. So we really wanted this huge exposed marble. This is an Italian marble product that we put in here, laid in herringbone, but there needed to be storage because everyone needs their salt, pepper, oils, and having that right by cooking is super important. And then I love having accents. So this was a really big deal for us. We had these custom made, and the gold brackets we actually found online to match everything, but this was really challenging. Then we ordered like 3 or 4 different brackets.
Yeah. And then we have fun things. Like this is a bell that we use to get everybody's attention because my voice isn't loud enough when we have parties, when it's time to eat. We actually got that in Palestine.
Yeah, so we have little mementos that we take from our travels. We love traveling. We are to take you guys along, but little knickknacks like this have meaning and they're great conversation pieces when we entertain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in our next episode or a future episode, we'll talk through all of our appliances because appliances are something that can have a long lead time. So anything that...
They're so expensive. Appliances are so expensive these days.
They are, but I think they're worth it.
I do too.
Yeah, our kitchen was the most expensive part of our renovation of this home, but worth it.
Yeah, but worth it. And then we're going to take you through a lot of design choices. So in this home, something that's really small, but I think a really big item is like all of our pulls are bars. We have no knobs. And so one thing that we thought of is high traffic functional space. It's really easy to pull instead of go under. And then one thing we've noticed with high traffic kitchens is a lot of the time if you have a knob, your nails can continue to hit the cabinets, the cabinets can get worn. And so choosing the right hardware in this property was important, and in the next property will be really important to make sure it can wear and be used super long term. And then leveraging functional space. I think the last thing we can talk about is our coffee bar in this niche that we did, which I thought was really nice.
Yes, and this was my friend Brian's idea to alternate the colors. I try to do 2 white and then blue, 2 white and then blue. We have some things in the dishwasher, so it doesn't look perfect right now. But this has been a good setup. I don't know why we have 3 coffee makers.
I love coffee because I'm addicted to coffee. But having like a beverage center I thought was really great. So wine bar, coffee, everything you need right by the fridge was really functional. And we try to think about intentional living when we're designing kitchen spaces. And all of that's going to be coming into our new kitchen. I love this concept and I love the idea, especially with the small peninsula. You guys will see that in our next floor plan because people like to linger in the kitchen. So often we have seating for 3 people, our late lingerers in the event will stay there. We'll be cleaning up the kitchen, and yet we still have the space to put stuff away. When there's an island smack dab in the middle, you feel like you're walking around your guests trying to put things away, and I feel like it's a little awkward. So having your guests outside of your main prep space allows you to kind of clean up while we're wrapping up the evening. If not, we're up until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning when we're entertaining.
Definitely, and the 2 dishwashers is really a functional thing because we can easily, I'll spend the whole next day just doing dishes and putting them away.
Yeah.
So having space, like sometimes it feels like a Rubik's Cube putting all of our things back together. So having a nice hutch where everything has a nice space and having adequate dishwashers. I think we're inclined to do the same dishwasher instead of two different ones that might have two different strengths and sets of weaknesses, just for customer service and repair purposes.
Yeah, I love it. And the last thing is just overall floor plan. So if you guys can pan and see how open this floor plan is, when we're furnishing properties or looking at the space, we want there to be interesting things that the eye catches to. So one thing that I find really important in design aesthetic is we don't want too much to catch the attention of people. So we anchored ourselves in this really beautiful Our House light. This is real crystal, and I think it's really important to invest into certain pieces. But then we found this really cool, we got this from a used furniture store, The Mirror, right? So that mirror's was like $120, but it refracts the light from the light, makes the space feel huge, and that's kind of like anchor number one. Anchor number two is your other dining room style light, which is in this kind of rotunda space. And then the fact that we did cool, interesting things like these niches in the side, which are just meant to create contrast. Imagine if this was just one flat wall, it'd be really boring. But Allie found all these blue and white books, and we designed these spaces to just give contrast to the space. So there's always something to look at and tie in the space. And I love that you do that. You're just so good at it.
Thanks. Something that I think we'll do differently next time. I think we were extra ambitious with the white couch, and then I also don't think it was my...
For the record, I was not allowed to eat on the white couch, sit on the white couch, drink on the white couch.
You did anyway, and then once when you spilled something, he called me and he goes, "You still love me, right?" And then explained what happened. And we have extra cushions upstairs to replace them. But another one of my not the wisest choices were these chairs. These are dry clean only velvet cream colored dining room chairs.
Yeah.
And they have stains on them. And I think we'll go with a more forgiving situation next time
definitely.
around.
I think like high wear, high utilization, darker colors is what we're going to be going for. This home is so light and beautiful. We love what we did here, but I think our next property is going to be a little more rich in tone in almost everything we do.
Or maybe not like super rich, but maybe a little bit more bold.
Bold might be a better word, yeah.
Bold, and then also more performance fabric. And another thing here is we never want our friends to feel like they're afraid to eat or drink or enjoy or have fun when they come into our home. And so that was a big part of it too. And I don't want people to think that I'm like looking at them when they have red wine or like paying attention if they spill something. I just want people to feel at ease. I think next we're focused on appliances, the kitchen specifically. We have 3 of them, so that's a big focus. Wallpaper. Permits, meeting with our builder.
And we have so much to cover. You guys are along the journey with us for the next year and a half.
I hope so.
And you guys can subscribe and learn more, and we'd love to hear from you in the comments of any questions you have from our current home, things we plan to our next home, or any of the videos that you want us to do, because we're gonna be taking you along everything as we're learning how to design our next property.